morning, guys. So this is our live lesson for today. So please make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil so that you can follow along with these questions with me. We're practicing being able to show our work on paper because our benchmark test and our STAR test are going to be on the computer. So we want to practice being able to show our work just on a piece of notebook paper because you're still going to need to show your work even if the test isn't on paper. So we're going to go over 5 more questions today, and then you're going to have some questions on Canvas. All right, the number line model, 2 different fractions. Which comparison of these fractions is true? So we have our question. We want to know which one's true, and we have the word comparison. Now we talked about whenever you see fractions and you see the comparing symbols, I know that I'm going to cross multiply. Before we can cross multiply, we need to figure out our fractions. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what you're going to do on your paper, pause here, draw this number line, make sure it looks exactly like mine, draw your jumps so that we can put in our denominators. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my denominator is going to be 8. 0 eighths, 1 eighth, 2 eighths, 3 eighths, 4 eighths, 5 eighths, 6 eighths, 7 eighths, and you know that you have it right when you end with the same number on top and bottom, 8 eighths, which equals 1 whole. Okay, and you can tell my number line, my jumps, the ones that they had originally, stop right here. So this number line is going to equal 2 eighths. Okay, this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, also has 8 parts. So I'm going to fill all these in. Make sure you're pausing the video and drawing your line and writing these numbers because that's the best way for you to learn. So if you're not drawing and writing these down, please go ahead and pause the video here and click play whenever you've drawn everything. So after you write your 8 eighths, okay, pause right now, pause the video, draw both of these number lines in your journal. And you can tell right here, this one stops on 1 eighth. So pause the video here, draw these 2 number lines. When you're ready to cross multiply, go ahead and click play. So now we have our 2 fractions. We have 2 eighths and we have 1 eighth. And I know because I'm comparing fractions, it says comparing, and I have my comparing symbols here, I'm going to cross multiply. Okay, so here I have 2 times 8, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 2 times 8 is 16. Over here I have 8 times 1, which is 8. So now I have 8 and 16. I know 16 is greater than 8, which means 2 eighths is greater than 1 eighth. So our answer here is G. So main thing to remember, if you see number lines, you need to label your number lines. When you see those comparison symbols with fractions, that means you are going to cross multiply. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next question. The table shows the relationship between the number of toy airplanes made in the factory and the number of batteries needed for the factory. So right here we have an in and out table. Based on the relationship shown in the table, which statement is true? So we want to know how we're getting from 5 to 15, 7 to 21, 9 to 27, and so on and so on. So let's look at our answer choices. The number of batteries is equal to the number of toy planes times 3. Okay, so let's look at 5 times 3. So 5, 10, 15. 5, 10, 15. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so that's right. Let's look at 7 times 3. 7 times 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. So that's right also. 9 times 3. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. So that one is also correct. 11 times 3, well, I know if I multiply anything times 11, 3 times 3 is 3, 3 times 1 is 3, 33. Okay, so I know all of these are correct. Okay, now if I look at, so right here was times 3. If I look at times 2, I know that 5 times 2 is 10. So I know times 2 is not correct. If I look at times 6, I know that 5 times 6 is 30, which is not correct. If I look at times 5, I know that 5 times 5 is 25, which is not correct. So the only one that works here is the times 3. So if you see a table like this, you need to figure out excuse me. You need to figure out what the rule is. Okay, remember we did in and out boxes. Figure out the rule. All right, test out your answer choices. That's the easiest way. Test out those answer choices. Excuse me. All right, next question. Okay. 4 fraction models are shown. Which 2 models are shaded to show equivalent fractions? Okay, so we have the word equivalent here. And what is that a keyword for? That is a keyword for cross multiply. So I know I'm going to cross multiply. Now, I need to figure out what fractions I'm going to cross multiply. So I need to label my models. So right here I have 3 parts. And 1, 2 of them are shaded. So I have 2/3. Right here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are shaded. 4/6. In model 3 I have 1, 2, 3 parts. And 1 of them is shaded, 1/3. Over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and 4 of them are shaded. All of them are shaded. So now I have my fractions: 2/3, 4/6, 1/3, and 4/4. Okay, so answer F is asking about models 1 and 2. So we want to find which one is equivalent. So remember that means equal. So models 1 and 2. Models 1 and 2. 2/3 and 4/6. Okay, and I need to cross multiply them to see if they're equivalent. Now this is going to be a lot of work, guys, but you have to do it to figure out your answer. Okay, 6 times 2 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 and 12 are equal. Okay, so I'm going to put a question mark next to F, but I still want to check G, H, and J. Models 1, so 2/3, and model 3, 1/3. 2/3 and 1/3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. So I have 6 and 3, and 6 is greater. So those are not equal. Now I have 2 and 4, so model 2 is 4 6 and 4 fourths. Let's come on here so we have a little more room. 4 6 and 4 fourths. Okay, 4 times 4 is 16. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, and I know 16 and 24 are not equal. 24 is greater than 16, so those are not equal either. Now I have model 2, which is 4 6, and model 3, which is 1/3. So I have 4 6 and 1/3, and again, we're just cross multiplying all of our answer choices to see which one is true. So here I have 4 times 3, which is 12, and here I have 6 times 1, which is 6. So my two numbers are 12 and 6, and I know 12 is bigger than 6. So I know my answer, the only one that's equal, is 2/3 and 4 6 because they both equal 12. So my answer here is F. Okay guys, remember when you are working with comparing fractions, you have to label all your pictures, and then you have to cross multiply all your answers to see which one is equivalent. It's a lot of work, but if you do it right, you're going to have an obvious answer. Okay, you're going to have an obvious answer. So make sure you focus and draw, fill in those pictures, label these fractions, and then cross multiply those fractions when you see that word equivalent. Okay, number 9. Which list shows a correct way to group these figures? Okay, so here I have a rectangular prism, so we're going to label these. We always label. Okay, I have a rectangular prism. Right here I have a triangular prism. Remember, you always label your shapes. Right here I have a cone. This is a cylinder. Right here I have a cube, which is also a prism. Don't forget that. Remember, it's like a square prism. And here I have a slender version of a cylinder. Okay? So I labeled my shapes. So I want you to pause the video here and choose which answer choice you think is correct. Choose which answer choice you think is correct. Click play whenever you're ready. Okay. So let's look at 8. 2 prisms. Well, I know I have 1, 2, 3 prisms. Don't forget that cube is a prism. Okay, don't forget that cube is a prism. So that's wrong. So I know A is not correct. Okay, B, 3 prisms. 1, 2, 3. That's correct. 1 cone. Right there. That's correct. 2 cylinders. 1, 2. That's correct. So all of those are correct. I'm going to put a question mark next to it, and I'm going to check C. Okay, C, 2 prisms. Well, I know I have 3. 1, 2, 3. So I know that is not correct. Okay, D, 3 prisms. 1, 2, 3. Correct. 1 cylinder. I know I have 2 cylinders. So that is not correct. So my answer is B. If you label these shapes, write it down on your notebook paper, then that's an easy question to get right. Guys, if you do not write the names down, that's going to be an easy question to get wrong. Make sure you write the names of those shapes down. Okay, last question. What number goes in the box to make the equation true? What number goes in the box to make the equation true? Okay, so I want you to think about your 11s, okay? whenever you have a number missing, remember you always want to take those two numbers and do the opposite. Okay? So what is the opposite of division? The opposite of division is multiplication. And the two numbers I have are 9 and 11. Remember, if you have a missing number, do the opposite of what it says with the other two numbers. Okay? So the opposite of division is multiplication. I have 11 and I have 9. Okay? Remember, guys, when you're multiplying by 11, it's really easy. You're going to do 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. So my answer here is F. And it's like that with any number, guys. 8 times 11, 88. 7 times 11, 77. 6 times 11, 66. Okay? It's like that with any number against the number 11. So the main takeaway from here, I have a missing number, so I'm going to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. And I'm going to take my two numbers. I'm going to take my two numbers, 11 and 9, and I'm going to multiply them. Okay? Alright guys, so on Canvas, make sure you have a piece of notebook paper, make sure you have your journal and a pencil, and show your work for every single question. Divide your paper into 5 parts, show your work on every question, guys. That's the main important thing today. Okay? Show your work. Alright guys, I will see you tomorrow for our video. Have a good day.